A few years ago, I decided to better my life. I had just quit drinking and smoking, and not that I was really heavy into that, but I wanted to make a better change for my life. So things were going really great, but I ended up hurting my back. I lifted something very heavy, and that caused some damage in my lower back, the spine. Some nerve damage. It was really painful. The doctor said it was just a sprain at first. So I did some physical therapy. Within a few weeks, the pain it kept magnifying. This pain was something unusual and very different. And so I went to the hospital, and the MRIs really weren't showing too much of damage. And so I was like, okay, let's just keep walking through it. And hopefully it'll get better. Within a few weeks, the pain got even worse. I couldn't walk anymore. I woke up one day and I couldn't feel my leg anymore. So in order to get the sensation back in my leg, I had to use a walker. But once the sensation came back in my leg, if I flexed any muscles around my leg or around my waist, the pain was so much that I realized that I couldn't live with that. So I spent about 7 months hopping and dragging my body around just to kind of manage my life that way, while seeing doctors who just were telling me that I had to learn to live like that. And it was, to me, I already knew that was never gonna happen, because that meant either being on painkillers or or dragging my body around for the rest of my life. That was unacceptable. Finally, I meet a doctor who says that he can fix me. I hop on his surgery table, and big mistake. I wake up, and this doctor has done way much more work than I had expected. I wake up to two spinal fusions. I'm missing bones now out of my spine. I'm missing whole sections of muscle out of my back. I got metal, I got screws. It's a nightmare. So the accident was in February of 2019. The first surgery was in October of 2019. Okay, and then after that, by the time summertime of 2020 came, I was at my limit as far as pain and the burden I was causing to my family, and my own mental exhaustion. If this was it, if this was the end all, be all of everything, then nothing else matters. So I started meditating, like for real. And that's when I picked up Dr. Joe's work at around September. So that was summertime when I had a lot of dark nights. And in September, I really just went all in. And about a month later, I woke up with a really bad fever and an very intense vibration throughout my whole body. All my organs felt like they were disintegrating, like they were just like sitting in like battery acid. And just a nightmare. And so at first I thought it was COVID, but it was never COVID. Now that turned out to be myalgic encephalomyelitis, just an advanced form of it. But it took a lot of detective work and a lot of patience from me to figure that out. But I kept meditating. It still got worse. Unexplainably, it got a lot worse. I never stopped meditating. I wanted to make it to an event. So we get now to here, this gets me to the point where now I'm saying, you know what? There's something going on here, because I'm doing, I'm doing my work, and I wanted to get out of my environment and see what kind of effect that had on me. We start doing some meditations. And then we get out and we start doing the walking meditation. I have no expectation, but I knew that I was gonna come in all in. When I stood up, my leg and my spine started spasming like they usually do, but they stabilized. I just relaxed into the meditation. Once I started walking, I realized that my leg felt and my body felt different. Take some more steps, still feels fine. Now I don't want to see my walker in front of me. The thing looks so ugly to me, and so I start pushing it in front of me instead of holding on to it. And the more I'm pushing it, the better my body's feeling, and the more energy I start feeling. So now I know, get rid of it. Now I'm walking. I'm walking for the first time in 2.5 years. And I am in a complete state of awe. And I start tiring out a little bit. And I'm not sure what to expect or what to do, but I'm still in my meditative state. My energy came back to me, but the second time, when the energy came back to me, a lot more energy was in my body. And I started bouncing around with my feet, starting to feel the energy in my feet. And when I start walking, I just start seeing something in the air, and it just looks just really odd. I don't know what it is. It's just fuzzy. But that fuzziness starts turning into really intense, bright, shimmery, squiggly lines, like a lot of snowfall of like really, really bright, shimmery. They weren't just lights. They were squiggly lines. They were lines, but they were falling heavy, and they were falling around me, and they were falling in the distance. And then I looked up, and they're falling just like you see snow falling. And so by then that's when I'm holding my arms up, and I'm walking, and my legs are stabilizing again, because again, this is when my energy's coming back. When I was walking, I had all the information from the night before of what is going on with when the brain and the heart goes into coherence during a walking meditation. So that's what I had in my head, okay, while I was walking. While I was standing up ready to do it. Having that information, having the information that Dr. Joe was teaching me here about the possibility, along with while I was walking, I used the information, and while I was walking, I used my willpower. When I was at home, I could barely make it to the bathroom without feeling like I ran an ultra marathon. Okay? So, and also, if I ever try to take a step without my walker, the nerves around my spine and leg would just go into just such a deep state of contraction for a few weeks. But during my walk, I walked pretty much like a 3/4 of a mile in a full stride, while my body felt pure harmony, absolutely no pain. It was the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me in my life. And so the only thing I can do now for myself, I think, is just to continue the work. I don't know what happened because I haven't gotten any tests done. I haven't left here. I almost don't even want to get tests, but we'll see. But being here in the science that we're shown here, all the things that we learn here in the science and the way that they explain to us what's going on biologically, what's going on chemically in the body when you're meditating, when you're going into those altered states, when you're feeling relaxed, when you're feeling love, what's really happening in your body, what's going on in your cells. It's actually transformative. There's real things going on. So having that information and my experience together makes it something whole to me. So if I had one and not the other, I'd still be kind of lost. But having the two with Dr. Joe Dispenza's work makes it very unique and special in a way that I know and have a beautiful future ahead of me. It's up to you. It really is. It really is up to you. You gotta make your choice. Dr. Joe can give you as many tools as you need. He can give you the perfect tool you need. But until you make that choice, it's not gonna work.